Hello and welcome again for joining me for today's tutorial. So today I'm going to show you how to make this basket beaded bag, dice bag or bucket bag, however you want to call it. It's trendy now and it's a beautiful bag. So I'm going to show you today how we are going to make it. So stay tuned and watch the video from beginning to the end. Thank you again for joining me. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back. So we are going to start. I have here my pearl bead on my table and I have in 8mm. So we are going to use 8mm pearl. This is my line, my fishing line in 50 pound. This is where we are going to use today, and this is how the thickness is looking like. This is the thickness of it. So I have my little plier over here to cut any excess of line. Let me push this aside and let's get started. So we are going to start with 4 beads. Start with 4. I put 4 on the line. This is 4 beads we are going to start with. So I'm going to hold my other line and cross this bead, the last bead, and pull. This is how it's looking like. We are going to use 4 flower beading technique to do it. On each line, I add one bead on each line, and I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this 3rd bead and pull. So this is how it's looking like. We have 2 flowers done and we are going to continue. So we have 1 in common on each line. I'm adding one bead on each line. You see, one bead on each line. Then I'm going to cross my both ends into this 3rd bead and pull. It's 4 flower beading, so they are sharing 1 bead in common. So we start with 4 and we are adding 3 to it. This is how it's looking like now. 1 2 3. We did 3 flowers. This is what we did. And now what I want you to hold, I want you to hold this flower, hold both ends together like this. Okay, this end to this end, put it together like this. I'm going to hold it like that. Then I'm going to add 1 bead to my line. This is 1 bead. Adding bead to my line, and I'm going to go through this edge bead over here and pull. This is how it's looking like. And now I'm going to pick up another bead again. So I'm opening my line. This is how it's looking like. We are going to have 4 rounds. So I'm picking 1 bead and I'm crossing both ends of my line into it and pull. And this is what we have now. This is how it's looking like. This line, I'm adding 3 beads to the line. 3 beads. Okay? Take your time and trust the process and you're gonna get it. So I'm crossing the last bead with my other line and pull. And now I'm going to go through this bead. What we are doing here, we are going through all these 4 beads on the top over here. So I'm going to pull my line through the 2nd bead and pull. And I'm going to add 2 beads to my line. 2 beads. This is how it's looking like. This line I'm going to go through the next bead. They are all 4 beads on top. We are going to go through each one of them and add 2 beads. So this line, 2 beads. And now this is how it's looking like. So this line I'm going to go through this bead and this one on the side. My line is here, the middle bead here, and the side bead. That's where I'm going to pull my line through. This is where my line is, okay? It's in 3 bead. So what I'm going to add now, I'm going to add only 1 bead to complete that one. Pull. And now we step up. This is how it's looking like. We have 2. So our now the line is up, and we are going to go through all these 4 up over here. This line, 3 bead. Add 3 bead to the line. I'm going to cross with my other line and pull. I'm going to go to the next bead, and I'll be adding 2 bead. This is how the starting is looking like, okay? Don't panic, it's going to be fine. This line into the next bead, 2 bead. This and this bead. I'm going to pull my line through the middle bead and the side bead, how we did the last time. And I'm adding 1 bead, crossing my both ends of my line into this bead and pull. And now we have 4 on top. We step up with the line, and we are going to continue. So we start with 3, pull into the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead. And I'm going to go through the last one and step up again. So I'm going through the middle and the side bead. This is how I'm going to step up with my line and continue with my beading. This is how it's looking like. See how the weave is going on? I'm starting again with 3. I'm crossing the end of the other line into the last bead and pull. Into the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead. I'm going to step up again and continue. So this into the middle bead, into the side bead, and add 1 bead to complete that row. So this is how it's looking. Very solid weave that we are doing over here. 3 bead. Start with 3. And I'm going to enter the next bead. I'm adding 2 bead. Into the next one. 2 bead. I'm going to step up again. I'm going to go through this one and the side one over here. Add 1 bead to complete the row. And that is how we step up and weave on. So this is how it's looking like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We made 6. We are going to make 11. So I'm going to complete 11. And this is how the 10. I made 10 already. 10. I'm going to make the 11th one. Okay. So I'm going through the next bead, and I'm adding 2 bead over here. 2 bead. Into the next. Going through this one and the side bead. Then I'm going to complete this row with 1 purl and complete this row. And this is how it's looking like. Very solid weave. This is how it's looking like. So this is 11, okay? We make 11 total. What we are going to do, we are going to move forward. We are not going to build and turn corners, so we are going to build here on this 4 over here. That is how we are going to turn. So we are not going to move forward, we are going to build on this 4. So I'm adding 3 beads to my line. I'm going to go to the next bead. Remember, we are using that 4 bead over there on the side. So I'm going through the next bead. The same technique, the same weave that we are going to continue with. 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead. You see the middle one over here? I'm going to go through it. Pull my line, add 2 bead. This line, 2 bead. I'm going to go through this one and this one. Go to the side bead and pull. And now I'm going to add 1 to complete this row. Add 1, step up, complete the row, and step up again to continue. I'm going to do it again. Add 3 beads to start. I'm going to go into the next bead. 2 bead. Into the next bead. 2 bead. I'm going to step up again, so I'm going to the middle bead and the side bead. I'm going to end with 1 bead, crossing both ends of my line into this bead and pull. And this is how it's looking like. Okay, this is how we are going to move forward to build this one. 3 into the next bead, 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead again, 2 bead. And I'm going to step up, go through the middle and the side to step up and continue. 1 bead, cross both ends of your line into it, pull to complete the row. That's where you step up and then continue. And this is how it's looking like. So we are going to continue to make 11 again. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going to make the next 7. So it has to be 11, 11, 11. We are making square, so 11. I'm making 11 total. And this is how it's looking like. We are going to continue again to build on this one. This is how it's looking like. Okay, so we are not going to turn on the side. Over here too, we are going to make, this is 11. If you count from the corner, 11 over here. This is 11. So we are going to start on this 4 over here to move forward. Okay, we are going to build on it and close it over here. I'm going to start this one again, so you continue to do yours and I'll go and do mine off camera. So let's start. We are going to work with this 4 bead over here. I'm starting with 3 to the next bead. I add 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next, I'm going to go through the side, then I'm going to step up again and build on it. So let's do this one more time. Start with 3, Go to the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next bead, add 2 bead. I'm going to go through this middle bead and the side bead. And now I'm going to use 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull like this. This is how the weave is looking like. This is how it's taking place. I'm going to continue off camera to do it. I want you to continue yours and we meet over here. This is how it's looking like. Very, very solid weave. We're going to continue and come over here. We are going to build on this one, then we attach it to the other end. So this is what we have now. We have a square over here and we have opening. So here we have 11. If you count from each corner, is 11, 11. Over here we are going to attach it, so I make 9 of it. And we are going to attach it to the pole, which will add up to 11 perfectly. So this is how it's looking like, and let me show you how we are going to attach it. This is my line. I'm going to add 1 bead to my line, okay? I'm going to add 1 bead to my line like this. Here is 1 bead I add to my line. Then I'm going to go through this middle bead over here. This one that I'm pulling my line through. Pull my line through it. Then I'm crossing both ends of my line into another bead and pull. This line into the next bead, this one. So I'm pulling my left line, my right line into this bead, left into the next bead. I'm going to cross both ends of my line into another bead and pull. And now I'm going to let it up, go to the next bead, this line into the next bead. I'm going to take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. So what I'm going to do, this is how it's looking like. Please consider to become a member today. That way you can have a quick answer to your questions that you have. Thank you for your support. Just trust the process and you have the same thing that I have over here. So what we are going to continue to do is to close the base of it. This is just open. We have to seal the base. So we are going to weave through using the same technique. We are going to fill in the space over here. That's what we are going to do. So I'm pulling my line through these 2 beads over here. This is the first bead that I'm pulling my line through. In the corner over here, this one, okay, and this over here. So my line is in 2 beads. My line is in 2 beads. We are going to build over here. I'm adding 2 beads to my line, and I'm going to cross the last one with my other line. Now I'm going through the next bead, 2 bead. We are doing 4 flower beading over here. Into the next bead, this line into the next bead. Two bead. I'm going to go through the next bead. I'm picking all the edge bead over here. Okay, I'm going through the edge bead and I'm adding 2 bead to my line. 2 bead. Into the next bead. 2 bead. If you want this bag to be long, you can extend. Yours is to extend the poles that we raise first. I'm going to go through the next bead and add 2 bead. Into the next 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead. I'm going to pick all the edge bead and add 2 bead. 2 bead. Now I'm going to go through my last bead and I'm going to go to this one over here. So the number of bead I'll be adding here is only 1 bead. 1 bead. Now I'm going to go through my next bead. Go to the next bead. And I'll be adding 2 bead. I'm going to go back through all the edge bead and add 2 bead. Into the next 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead, 2 bead. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, like and also share to friends and families that you think this video might be helpful to. Please share and subscribe. Into the next 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead, 2 bead. I'm going to go through this edge bead into the next one, and I'll be completing this row with 1 bead. 1 bead. This is how we are going to go back and forth, and weave until we complete this. This is how it's looking like. So we are going to continue to complete the base. 2 bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead. I'm going to continue the same weave, the same process. So we are going to go ahead to continue with the same technique until we fill in the base before we build on it. Please consider to become a member today. Thank you for your support. I'm going through my last bead. So continue to do yours and I'll go and do mine off camera. I'm going to continue to the end and fill it up. The same technique we are using, the same thing we are going to do over here. So continue to weave yours and I'll go ahead and do mine off camera. And when we reach the last point, I'll come and show you how we are going to complete. Okay, here, let me show you how we are going to do it. So I'm going to put my line through the last bead and the bead on the side. This bead over here, I'm going to put my line through it, and this one over here. And now that my line is in 2 bead, I'm just going to go ahead and take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. We are going to join with 1 bead. in between over here. So I'm going through this bead over here. I'm going to pull my line, the other line, into this one over here. And I'm going to take one bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. And that is how we are going to go ahead, continue and complete this side. So I'm going to pull my line through the next bead, into the next bead, and take one bead and cross both ends of your line into it and pull like this. Okay, into the next two bead, this one too, I'm going through the next one. I'm taking one bead and I'm crossing both ends of my line into it, and then I'm going to pull. This is how we are going to continue to complete this open. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, share. Also, please turn on your notification bell for any new video that I'll be uploading so you don't miss on it. Thank you. So now we have come to complete this base. And so for the rest of the line, I'll weave it back into the bead. This is what we are going to build on. Okay, we have the structure to build on, and we are going to start on these four over here on the corner. So we have the four corners, and we are going to start here on this four bead over here. So I'm going to pull my line through this first bead on the edge bead, and we are going to start weaving. It's in this bead over here. So I'm starting with 3 bead. I'm going to pull my line again into the next bead, this line into the next bead. Two bead. Into the next bead, 2 bead. So now I'm going to go through the last bead over here and the next one into the next, and I'm going to go through this one on the side. So I step up. Okay, I'm going to step up over here so we can build on this. So we are going to continue with the same technique we used to start the weave. That's what we are repeating over here. So we are going to continue and go ahead. Okay, this is how it's looking like. I'm starting with 3 again. Start with 3, go into the next bead, this one, add 2 bead. Into the next bead, I'm going to go through the next bead, this one right here. So we are going to continue and weave the same technique that we used to start the weave. That's what we are going to use throughout the entire weave. So we are just going to continue ahead and build on this one, and that's what we are doing. I'm going to go through next bead and step up, so into this bead and the side bead. That way I step up and then continue to build on this one. I'm going to use 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. You pull it down. Then I'm starting again with 3. Into the next bead, add 2 bead. I'm going to go to the next bead, and I'll be adding 2 bead. This is how we are going to continue and complete this, and I'm going to make 11 total. Okay, I'm going to make 11. So I'm going through the middle bead and this side bead over here, so I can step up again and continue with my weave. Just trust the process and you're gonna do the same thing that I'm doing over here. take one bead, cross both ends of your line and pull. And this is how the structure is looking like. This is what we are going to build on the four corners. I'm going to go ahead and build on this one. I'm going to raise 11. If I count from down, is 11. I'm going to make 11 total. Please feel free to use your own choice of colors of bead that you like to make this bucket bag. It's very, very beautiful bag, and it's trending now. It's trending. You can make it for your friends, loved ones. You can make it. People use it for wedding gift, so you can use it as a wedding gift bag too, which is very, very beautiful. Let's go ahead and make this structure. And I'm going to go to the last bead over here, come up and step up again. So this is how the structure is looking like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you count from down is 6. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make 5 more to have 11. I'm creating more on it. 5 more to make 11. So we are going to count 11. So here the first structure is complete, and this is how it's looking like. So if you count all, it's 11. 1, 2, 3. If you count it all, 11 from the bottom. Okay, so we are going to raise, we are going to count 5 in between. 4, 5, 6 on the 6. Right here we are going to raise another one and count on this 4 over here. We are going to raise another one too. So 1 in the middle and 1 over here in the corner. That's what we are going to repeat all 4 corners and count the same spot, and then raise in the middle, middle, middle. You raise 1 here, 1 here, 1 here in the corner, 1 in the middle over here in the corner. I'm going to go ahead and build 1 over here and 1 in the corner, here and here. Make sure the interval is equal. Okay, the intervals are equal, between them are equal. And on this 4 bead I'm going to start. So I'm going to pull my line through this bead over here, and we are going to start weaving. I'm starting with 3. We are just repeating the same technique over here, and we are going to continue to build this structure over here. I'm going through the next bead and I'm adding 2 beads. I'm going through the next bead, 2 beads. Into the next bead and come up, so we can step up and continue our beading. I'm going to do 1 more time, then the rest we do it off camera. I'm going to go to the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next bead and the side bead. Take 1 bead and cross both ends of your line into it and pull like this. I'm going to the next bead over here, and I'm adding 2 beads to my line. I'm going to step up into the middle and the side. Add 1 bead, cross both ends of your line and pull. So this is how the structure is looking like. This is how we are building. We are going to build on it the same level as the first one. We are going to build 1 in the corner, 1 in the middle, on the side, in the middle, on the corner over there. But I'm going to do the first 3 and show you how we are going to go about it. This is how it's looking like. Okay, these are the 3 ones that I want to show you how we are going to join those poles. I'm going to go through the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. This is what I'm going to continue with. We are going to join on this one, make another and join. I'm going through the first bead of the 4, and we are going to weave the same way, the same technique. We are going to continue and weave. This beaded it's called a dice bag too. People call it dice bag. It's a very, very beautiful dice bag that you can make. You can give it to somebody, a wedding, whatever you want to use it for. So I'm going to go to the next bead, and I'll be adding 2 beads. I'm going to work on this 4 bead and raise this stretcher over here. I'm going through the middle bead and pull, and now I'm going to step up with 1 bead so I can continue with my weave. So this is how it's looking like. I'm coming and I'm going to step up, and I'll show you how we are going to join it. Okay, now we're done with this one. I made like 4. So when you count from the top, it's 4. So we are going to join on this one. So let me show you how you are going to join. This line, I'm going to add 1 bead to it. Add 1 bead to the line. I'm taking my time so everybody can see what I'm doing, okay? And I'm going to go through this bead over here. I'm pulling my line through the bead and pull. Then I'm going to take another bead, cross both ends of my line into it, and pull. Okay? Then I'm going to go through the next bead, this one to the opposite. I'm going to go through the next bead, this one. Pull your line through it. Now take 1 bead, cross both ends of your line into the bead, and pull. Now into the next bead, this and this one. This one goes into this, and this goes into this one. Another bead, cross both ends of your line into it and pull. And now 10. Now we have to lock the line. I'm going through the next bead under it. It's not showing, but this one right here, directly under that one, I'm going to pull my line through it so I can lock the line in there and weave the rest of my line into the bead so it can lock perfectly. Now come to the back bead. I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this bead over here and weave the rest of my line into it. I'm crossing in this back bead so I can lock my line. Now the rest of this line, just weave it through, okay, and lock. Then trim. The first one is done, and we are going to create the second one. This one is done. We are going to join the second one over here. I'm going to show you the middle too. We have to find the middle and join. That's why it's called dice bag. Okay, so from here, this 4 bead, I'm going to raise another stretcher and join. So let's start. This 4 bead over here, that's where we are going to work with. Okay, so I'm going to pull my line through this bead over here, and we'll start our beading. Start with 3 into the next bead. You see how it's done already. Okay, so 1 2 3 4. We raise 4 again, and we are going to join. So here's a fresh new line that I cut. I'm going through this bead over here, the edge bead, this bead over here. I'm going to add 1 bead to my line. Then I'm going to go through this edge bead again. We are working with this 4 bead, inner bead over here. So I'm going to go through this edge bead. I'm going to take 1 bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Okay, I'm crossing my line into this 1 bead over here, then pull like this. You see how it's coming together? I'm going to go through this bead, this one into this bead, pull my line through the second edge bead, take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull, pull. This line into the next bead, this one into the next bead. And I'm going to take 1 bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Now I want to lock the line, so I'm going down into the bead, down into the next bead, and cross into the back bead, this one over here. That way I'll lock my line and weave it through, so the line will not slip out. This is how it's looking like. The rest of this line, I'm just going to weave it back into the bead and then trim it off. So from here, we are going to continue to join them. I'm going to do the middle. I'm going to show you how we are going to do the middle too. So we count 6 here, okay? I'm going to raise another one here and join, another one here and join. And I'm going to show you how we do that. Then we do the corners, and then we do the whole thing and complete. This is done. We have to join to the middle one. This is 4, so I'm going to join again. Add 1 bead to the line, onto the side bead. Take 1 bead, cross both ends of your line into it. Go through the next bead. Like how we did for the first, second one, the same way we are going to do over here. This bead, my line is going through. Then I'm going to take another bead and cross my line into it. Okay, this is how it's looking like. I'm going to go through the next bead, this one into the next, and the next line into the opposite, and pull. You cross both ends of your line into this and pull. And now what you have to do is to lock your line, weave it through, and trim it off. So we're going to do the same thing to join. This is how the beaded dice beaded bag is looking like. This is how it all started. Okay, this is how it all started. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can weave how you want to join it. You can weave all the pulls on the four corners in the middle before you join them. There's no right or wrong way to do this. This is how the first one is looking like, and this is, if you complete, this is how it's looking. This is the last one I'm going to join on this. Okay, you do it how you want it, how you feel comfortable to join it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. So we are going to join the last one, and we put handle on it, and that's it. That's all we have to do. I'm crossing my line into this bead, pull, go into the next bead, this one and this. I'm going to go through this one. I'm crossing my line into it and pull. Then I'm going to go down into a bead. I'm crossing my line into this bead over here, the inner one, and pull. This is how it's looking like. Very, very beautiful, very structured, very strong and firm beaded bag, beaded dice bag, bucket bag or basket bag, whatever you want to call it. So here you can put your handle diagonally, or you can put it this way. Okay, do whatever you feel is good for you to do with the bag, how you want to attach your handle. So I put it on the side. I put this lock on the side over here, and I'm going to add this chain to it. Just open the claw and hook the chain on it. Oh, I put it in the wrong one. Okay, now it's in the right one. Now the second one too, I'm going to open it and then hook on it. Okay, let me hook this one too. Okay, this is our final product. This is how our final product is looking like. The dice bag, the beaded bag, the bucket or basket bag. This is how it's looking like. Take it to wedding. It's a gift bag too. You can make it and give somebody. Very beautiful. Thank you for watching. I thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification for any new video I'll be uploading. Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye.